Now for my independent views video, which is where I talk about my independent books. Um, so first off, Epigee. I was talking about how I was looking forward to this book for a long time, and it wasn't a bad book, uh, but it was really, really bizarre. It starts out with this showing us what's going on in the show, and like the first like 3 or 4 pages are about what was going on in the show, and that was all good. And then now she's a cop, and people are not really happy about that. And then she made a sex tape and all of this stuff. But then I flipped this page, and there is like this crazy freaking sex scene going on. And um, I just didn't really understand why that needed to jump in there. I thought that we were telling a pretty decent story otherwise. Um, but I like that, when she kicked him off the top of her, that, there was this whole story going on here. Uh, I like the story. The one thing I didn't like about this book, it was 18 pages. Um, it was barely even a book. Um, and so, I mean, downside of that book, I mean, it's a $2.99 book. So, I mean, I guess if you want to give me 18 pages, then, okay. But, I mean, it was a good book. Next, I read Dying in the Dead. 450, 60 flipping pages. And this book was nonstop freaking good. It was honestly like reading the first like 30 pages of an actual novel. Um, I really enjoyed this. I'm not a huge Jonathan Hickman fan. Um, and so I wasn't even going to pick up this book. But because so many people raved on it, I went ahead and picked it up, and I wasn't let down by that. It was a pretty good book. Next, I read Bodies. Um, I don't really know that I'm any more in the loop one issue before this series ends than I was 4 issues into this series. I am still utterly confused. Even though they try to give me backstory and what's going on, maybe I'm just slow and I can't keep up with it, but I mean, I really honestly cannot keep up with this story and who's doing what to who and why and it just everything about this book. I'm hoping that when the trade comes out in a few months, that I'll be able to sit down and read this beginning to end and be like, oh, I'm an idiot because I didn't get that. But, for right now, I don't get Bodies. With 1 issue left, I don't understand why that story is where it is. And why he kept asking what's up with the new harvest and that nobody was explaining that to him. He asked it like 6 different times and they're like, oh, well, just wait. Well, I mean, you got 1 issue left. I mean, I don't know, get to the point. Um, 13 Coins. Wow, was I impressed with this book. This was, so far, and I mean, I'm pretty much done with my comics, the best thing I read this week. Um, I didn't like issue 3, but issue 3, the way that it set me up for that whole right left combination for how good this issue um, was worth it. Man, this issue is good. And I know that I think me and Mercy are the only people that are reading this book. And, I mean, it's a short series. I think it's like 6 issues, 5 issues maybe. Um, but all the issues, all the issues, it's on issue 4. 1 and 2, I thought were really, really good. 3, I was kind of let down a little bit. But 4, I mean, man, kicked it into high gear. You got people just kicking folks through walls, what's going on with, you know, his, him being the firstborn and everybody wanting to kill him. I mean, even the people that are on his side want to kill him. And, yeah, that was crazy good. Um, Red V Wars, um, once again, I'm not crazy jazzed about this book. The art in it is good. The story in it is good. Had I not read 550 pages of this V Wars story and already know what's coming, um, maybe this would be a better comic. If you just jumped in on this comic, then maybe it would be better. Um, but, you know, I read 550 pages of his book of what exactly was going on in this V world, and I'm just not impressed with the way that this comic goes. Uh, and you know, like I said before, you know, Rotten Ruin. Um, I didn't read the books, and now that the series is over, maybe I'll read the books. But if nothing else, V Wars has been a learning lesson for me. That you know, it's kind of like whenever you read a book and then you watch a movie, and the movie's not as good as the book. It was kind of the same thing with this comic, that I was expecting to see illustrated versions of, you know, what it was that I was reading in the book, and that is not what this book is at all. Um, you know, it follows a doctor, uh, it follows Nishka, and these people that I'm familiar with, and I know what happened to them before, and I know what happened to them after, but not necessarily what happens to them in the book. So, you know, um, all I know is that this is the best cover I got this week. Um, awesome cover. And anyway, I'm gonna get off here and read some books.